The first strike, a mockery of Earth. The attack came at dawn, or what passed for dawn on the colonial world of Ariane 4. The skies split open as the Zaith Armada descended, sleek warships blotting out the pale sun. Plasma fire rained upon cities, silencing millions of voices in minutes. Towers of glass and steel fell like children's toys, ships were torn from orbit, and the ground itself burned from orbital bombardment. The aliens did not strike from necessity, they struck from arrogance. To them, humans were an upstart species, fragile, reckless, and far too ambitious for their short lifespans. The destruction was not conquest, it was mockery. They left survivors deliberately broken bodies crawling in the ash, forced to watch everything they loved erased. Broadcasts of the massacre flooded the stars, a message to the galaxy. This is humanity's fate. The Zaith commander, draped in obsidian armor, stood before his war council and sneered. Earth will not answer. They do not know how to. Their kind is too civilized, too young. They will beg, and when they beg, the galaxy will know who rules the stars. Triumph and arrogance. Across the great council worlds, the attack was celebrated. The Zaith drank in their victory, parading charred human banners as trophies. Other alien powers laughed at Earth's silence. Some whispered that perhaps humanity's rapid expansion had finally been checked. Others suggested that humans, for all their stubborn resilience, would simply fade back to their fragile homeworld and accept their place beneath the boot of stronger races. The arrogance grew. Human envoys who once sat in quiet corners of galactic assemblies were now ignored, ridiculed, or openly threatened. Colonies near alien borders faced harassment and raids. Trade convoys were seized. And through it all, humanity remained silent. Earth did not speak, did not threaten, did not move. The galaxy mistook patience for weakness. The galaxy mistook silence for surrender. But ancient records, the kind few bothered to read, told another story. In dusty vaults beneath ruined temples, old prophecies had whispered of a species that would rise from a blue world, patient beyond reason, wrathful beyond imagination. A species that would bring storms of fire when provoked. A species whose vengeance would not end with victory, but with annihilation. The prophecy had warned of humanity. The silence breaks. When Earth finally answered, it was not with words, it was with movement. Across the Sol system, shipyards that had been quiet for decades roared back to life. Dreadnoughts, hulking steel leviathans the size of mountains, were pulled from their cradles, engines glowing like newborn suns. Carriers opened their bays, disgorging squadrons of black-winged gunships. Old codes whispered across encrypted comms, and sleeping fleets awakened in the void. The silence broke with a single broadcast. It was not addressed to the Zaith alone. It was to the entire galaxy. The voice was calm, steady, stripped of all emotion. You sought our extinction. You mocked our dead. You mistook silence for fear. Now you will learn why the ancients feared our name. Earth does not beg. Earth does not forgive. And Earth does not forget. For the first time in living memory, every star seemed to tremble. The mobilization of vengeance. They came not as diplomats, nor as negotiators, nor as the fragile merchants other races had known. They came as storms. From hidden dockyards in the Kuiper Belt, stealth fleets emerged, engines cold and quiet until the moment of strike. From Titan's shadow, supercarriers launched battle groups that stretched across the void. Mars itself rumbled as war foundries produced railguns the length of skyscrapers. Earth's oceans boiled with submarine leviathans, vessels that surfaced only to rise into orbit, carrying payloads that could split moons. The mobilization was biblical in scale. Ships lined in formation until they eclipsed stars. Fleets moved with a precision that spoke of centuries of planning, as if humanity had always known this day would come. The galaxy watched in growing horror. What they had mistaken for silence was, in truth, preparation. What they had mocked as cowardice was patience sharpening into vengeance. And once the first human fleet jumped into Zaith space, there was no turning back. The storm of retribution. The war did not last years. It did not last months. It lasted days. The Zaith's proud armadas, those same fleets that had burned human colonies, were reduced to wreckage in hours. Human dreadnoughts unleashed annihilation cannons that tore apart ships with a single shot, splitting vessels from prow to stern. Carriers deployed swarms of drones, black as shadows, that moved with terrifying coordination. Ground troops descended like storms, soldiers in armored exosuits who fought with a relentlessness the galaxy had never seen. Cities were leveled not with chaos but with surgical precision. Military installations vaporized, command centers silenced, entire planets stripped of their defenses in methodical waves. Human fleets did not rage blindly, they cut with cold, mechanical efficiency. Every strike was calculated, every blow exacted. One Zaith admiral, moments before his flagship disintegrated, whispered into his comms, "The prophecy, it is true." The galaxy had never seen war like this. Humanity did not merely retaliate, humanity erased. Ashes and silence. When the war ended, the Zaith were no longer an empire. They were fragments, broken survivors clinging to worlds of ash. Their homeworld lay in ruins, cities turned to glass beneath relentless orbital fire. Their proud banners, once displayed in arrogance, now lay buried beneath rubble. Human fleets did not stay to conquer. They did not raise their flag over alien ruins. They left silence, silence and dread. The survivors whispered among themselves. To provoke Earth was to invite extinction. To mock their patience was to awaken their wrath. The prophecy had been fulfilled. Humanity had risen not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as vengeance incarnate. Across the galaxy, whispers spread in every shadowed hall, in every hushed council chamber. Never provoke Earth again. Never awaken their silence. For their patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite. The legacy of fear. Centuries from now, long after the ruins of the Zaith are dust, the story will remain. Alien children will hear it in whispers before sleep. Commanders will remember it when considering war. And hidden in the archives of ancient civilizations, one prophecy will be read with trembling hands. Beware the children of Earth. They come quietly. They strike without warning. And when they rise, the galaxy will bleed.